was like, Phew!
The Holy Spirit took over.
And no one cares about sprints.
I care about the sprint. McLaren
It's the world championship
hotline. I have some thoughts about that.
He's Max freaking Verstappen. He should always be on your radar.
We get to the juicy bits.
Love the juicy bits.
I'm not a scientist.
Overtake King.
Yeah.
That restart, by the way, from Oscar Piastri.
Cheeky.
Diabolical. There's been lots of drivers. It's hard to keep them all straight. And we're live. I'm Anna.
And I'm Jessica.
This is Why Are You Yelling? Welcome back to another F1 team preview for the 2026 season. We are talking about Mercedes.
Here we go.
Yeah.
So Mercedes enters 2026 trying to reset after a very difficult 2022 to 2025 ground effect era. They're hoping that a new chassis and power unit rules are their chance to get back to title fights. You know, they've lost Lewis Hamilton. He bounced. They have Kimi Antonelli. George Russell and Kimi Antonelli are still the drivers. That has not changed since last year. And the team principal is still the lovely and my favorite Toto Wolff.
Yeah. I think that, Kimi had a good showing, a good debut as a rookie last season.
For
so
sure.
Expectations are high for him going into his second season in Formula One and with Mercedes. George Russell, we mentioned several times last season that he was the dark horse, that he was an underrated driver, that people were not giving him the respect that he deserved.
Sometimes it's hard.
He makes it hard sometimes.
He screamed yabba dabba doo, y'all. Like, I mean,
listen,
he's a dweeb.
Little bit.
Love him.
But he I think was really consistent last season in terms of like putting in the effort and like showing up for the team and like really, getting some good, decent results. I think, he proved more last season that he deserves to be in talks amongst the top drivers on the grid.
Oh, for sure. So, and I think that is the question for Mercedes now going into this 2026 era is, can they nail these regulations early on and turn like their underlying pace into consistent, clean weekends instead of a boom or bust form? Because honestly, if right now Mercedes, and we'll talk about how testing went, but they seem to be the favorite going into 2026. And if that's the case, watch out for George Russell.
Mm-hmm.
Watch out. I'm not saying, I think Kimi's still learning. George is ready. Like we've said before.
He's peaking at the right time.
Yes, I do believe George is a future world champion. Maybe it's this year. If Mercedes nails this,
mm-hmm. He's ready for it.
I would say, we might know within the first 5 or 6 races who the world champion's going to be.
I think George is the sort of driver who's like, he's got this like hidden dog within him. Like he can get a little aggressive on the track. Like he will push back.
He's got that dog in him. It's just polite. It's just British.
It's just British on the surface. But yeah, I'm very interested to see what happens with him and with Mercedes this year for sure.
Yeah.
So looking at last season and kind of what went right, what went wrong. Mm-hmm. So they did climb back to P2 in the Constructors' Championship last season, coming in second behind McLaren, obviously. So George Russell delivered a pole to win weekends in Canada and Singapore and stayed in the driver's title hunt until the final 3 rounds. Yeah. So, I mean, he was doing everything he could.
Yeah.
I mean,
100%.
Consistently. So, I mean, just like very, again, dark horse, very impressed with George Russell.
Yeah.
And, Kimi Antonelli had some peaks in his rookie season, sprint pole in Miami. He got a first podium in Canada. He got his first podium the same season that Nico Hülkenberg got his first podium.
Oof.
So Kimi also finished P2 in Brazil and took another podium in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
But he also had some low points.
Yes, he did.
So there were still some tough stretches where he would do really well, and then all of a sudden, like, performance took a dive, and I think his confidence was shaken a little bit at certain times.
Yeah.
Especially he's so young. He was only 18. I mean, he looks all of like a cherub, like baby.
Yeah.
Is he on our wall somewhere?
Yeah, he's behind you. He's over there.
I don't know if y'all can see him with the champagne pouring. We put him up on our wall, but
yeah, we have all the rookies that got podiums up here.
Yeah.
Well, and Nico.
And Nico. he got 3 pictures, he's behind you.
Yes.
I'm like, where did we hang them all?
Oh, it'll be a block too.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah, I'm interested to see more consistency from Kimmy, and see if he can kind of master that the mental aspect of the game.
Yeah.
So something else that, again, looking at what went wrong last season, Mercedes couldn't sustain a title challenge across the season, and the car's form swung depending on conditions.
Yes,
which
it was always like, if it's too hot or if it's cold, it's great. It was like a whole thing.
So like in 2024, it was pretty predictable that if the conditions were going to be colder, Mercedes was going to have a great weekend.
Yes.
Last season, we thought that was going to be the case again. It was not. It was seemingly random when the car would like have a great weekend or not. That's kind of just what went wrong for them, is that we just got swings one way or the other, no consistency.
Yeah, there's like been like this whole ground effect era thing. There was just no consistency for them at all. So they had like no consistency since the horrible 2021 season. Yeah,
so 2025 was like better for Mercedes, but it still wasn't enough because obviously they didn't win the drivers or constructors title. And so, they're trying to go for the gold, as it were. They're like 2026, you said they're the title favorite. They're really pushing, and that's their main goal.
Yeah. So what's changed since last year? To be honest, not that much. I mean, Lewis Hamilton, but he left at the start of 2025. Really, his last season was the end of 2024. So he was with Ferrari already. Antonelli stepped in as a rookie. Russell has been the senior driver since last year now. So, I mean, that's still the same going into 2026. All of 2026 is full of new resets, like new regulations, new chassis, new power unit era. And so it's really just everything's brand new in the sense of that. But team-wise, nothing's really changed for them. So now, what have the new regulations looked like so far for Mercedes with, the preseason testing that we just did? Quick and impressive when they're in the window, but the first Bahrain test included some visible bumps, balance issues, suspension problems, and an engine change costing their running. They did bounce back though. So, I mean, again, all of this it's hard to be like, oh, they had issues, that means they're going to have issues, or oh, they did great, that means they're going to do great. We really don't know. So they did have a little bit of a bounce back after some hiccups. They finished the first Bahrain test more productively after reliability hit delays, and then had a very high mileage and trouble-free day during the second test that helped recover some lost ground that they had. The one roundup sort of suggests that Mercedes still has significant pace in hand, and they could head to Australia as the pre-race favorite. So really, like, they had some hiccups, but after they sort of fixed that, I mean, they just had a lot of consistency and showed a lot of promise. So everyone was like, oh, and a lot of the other teams still don't think that Mercedes have showed us everything, that they're sandbagging us.
Yeah.
So
looking at what the team has said publicly, about testing, they've sort of admitted that they're still learning the car. They have work to do to keep it in a happy window, especially, in Bahrain where it's hot. But they feel they can make steps quickly. Kimi Antonelli stayed cautious even when topping a day, stressing how tiny the gaps are and that testing doesn't show the full picture, obviously. And then George Russell sort of publicly framed Mercedes as his best chance for a 2026 title, leaning into belief in the reset.
So what this could mean for Mercedes without, obviously, we're not psychics. I almost said scientists.
Not that
we can't predict the future. We're not either.
We're not scientists or psychics.
No, or stewards.
Yeah.
Just so you know. So basically everything is reading they can do really well. It's just going to be, can they keep it up? Is this going to be consistent? The pace looks real, but the first priority is keeping the car in its best window across all types of different conditions. If they start 2026 with fewer setup swings and fewer reliability interruptions than they did in the first week of testing in Bahrain, they look like they could be number one with the ability to even go higher. And the thing to look out for is, can they take this speed that they've showed us in preseason testing and apply that to race weekends and actually execute it that way?
So the biggest storylines to watch for in 2026 with Mercedes is looking at George Russell as the team leader. Can he sort of turn that lead driver status into a full season title push if the car is there? I think he can.
100%.
If the car is there, George will get it done.
Yeah.
I have no doubt. I'm like throwing all my chips in.
Now, the only caveat to that is if Red Bull's number two, that means Max is still number one.
Yeah.
So that means we will see the I still want Ferrari to be number one. I'm just saying, if I don't see that, I want to see George Russell and Max going at it. But anyway, sorry.
Just eat it up. So another storyline looking at, Kimi Antonelli's second year in Formula One and with Mercedes. Can he kind of smooth out the highs and the lows, become more consistent points and podium? Can he become a consistent points and podium contributor? That was so hard to say.
The tongue twister.
Yeah. The biggest headline for the team as a whole is just trying to figure out that operating window and the reliability of the car and just being consistent. It's, just improving on the issues that they had last year.
Yeah. So with that being said, the quick recap, they look fast, but they still need some fine tuning, and can they keep it up? Mm-hmm. And the big question I pose to everybody, what would convince you to say that Mercedes is back? Is it going to be an immediate win? Is it going to be a consistent top two qualifying? Is it going to be seeing Antonelli and Russell both in the podium? Like, what is going to make everybody decide, oh, they're back? Like, Mercedes is back.
Yeah.
But another question, like, if Mercedes, like me and you've already said it, do you think, if this is the number one car, do you think George Russell will be world champion? I'm saying yes.
I say yes.
Unless Max is number two. Then honestly, I don't know.
Then it's 50-50.
Yeah, I really have no idea.
Girl!
It's 2080. And Max is 80. I'm sorry.
With that said, we're going to wrap up this team preview. But don't go anywhere. There should be a box on your screen linking to another team preview. We are doing previews for all 11 teams on the grid this season. So go check those out if you haven't already. And until then, we will talk at you next time.
Yep.
Bye.